California's fast food restaurants is preparing to increase its minimum wage to $20 an hour. That's going to be very expensive for a lot of these places. And my personal opinion before I get to this video is that one group of people in fast food is going to lose. That's like the starter companies, your mom and pops. Some of those are heavily rely on cheaper labor, while big companies like your McDonald's, your Burger King, your Jack in the Box, they'll just automate. They're already automating a lot of things. So to them, it just helps them get more customers because now there's less competition. That's my personal opinion about every time we see minimum wage goes up, it benefits one group of people and it hurts other people, especially those who are trying to start. But that's my opinion. Let me know if you believe otherwise. But let me see what this video has to say.
Starting Monday, the minimum wage for fast food workers in California is going to increase to $20 an hour. That's forcing some restaurants to lay off workers just to make ends meet. Joining me now is Neil Hirschman. He's owner of 16 Handles. That's the ice cream and frozen yogurt chain. Neil, great to have you on board. You look like you're so young. Or am I just getting old? I don't know. But Neil, thank you for being here. Have you had to let anyone go at your stores in California yet?
Yeah, no, it's a great point, Ashley. The minimum wage has been difficult. It's not just California. New York raised their minimum in a lot of states in the earlier part of this year in January. So, you know, we're in a very fortunate circumstance where we already have a lot of automation. We're a self-serve frozen yogurt, so our customers are actually doing a lot of the work, which is great. They love the individuality of being able to pick their own flavors. That being said, we do operate with much fewer employees than a lot of our competitors. And you see a lot of comparable QSRs might have 10, 12 workers on shift. We can usually get by with 2 or 3. So we're in the fortunate position where our labor isn't really that dependent, or it's not that many people where these small increases make an impact. But yes, it's certainly going to get hard out there. And there's not a big cushion for QSR operators where they have that available room. And so a lot of this is going to be passed on to consumers, which is my fear over the next few years. And I think you just saw with McDonald's, they got a lot of slack because a lot of consumers said, we don't want more increases. And it's like one increase after the next, and when's it going to stop?
I mean, first and foremost, this is a good, advertisement for this guy to promote his business. So good for him. I mean, small business owner. He has 16 locations, so he's definitely growing. So good for this guy. He looks very young. He was about to comment about that too. But yeah, he's absolutely right in a few areas. Most important part is that if a restaurant does not want to cut its staff, maybe because they really can't, they don't have the automation or whatever, they have to increase the prices of their food and their services and have the customer pay that. And he just said, McDonald's got a lot of slack recently. I mean, you just go on any TikTok, people are complaining about McDonald's being so expensive. Yeah, I mean, that's what this high inflation has cost us, right? Everything's so expensive these days. Food is expensive. Labor will always be expensive. This will go on until the rest of our lives where it's just wages don't catch up, this and that. We're always going to hear that. So if you feel like you're at a minimum wage job, you're not getting paid enough, you work at this fast food, it's one of those situations you have to figure out how to make more money. Let me watch some more before I comment further.
Right. Well, that's a good question, especially in California. Have you had problems finding workers? I know that that has still been an issue. Has it been an issue for your company?
Yeah, it's definitely been more difficult in the last few years than it was, let's say, pre-COVID. That being said, it's kind of fun to work at a ice cream or frozen yogurt shop. We make people smile. Our mission is to create happiness. So we definitely have a better experience for our employees, and our stores do have higher revenue because we do still have that personal touch. It is self-service, but people like when there's a hello when they walk in and a goodbye. People come to us to be happy.
Let me go back to that real quick. I mean, this is revenue. This is just the money that's came in 2023. Does not mean this is profit. This is money that just came in. People came to the store, purchased something, left. It doesn't talk about how much you had to pay in the rent of those facilities. They didn't have to pay. He didn't mention how much he had to pay for, like the cups, the spoons, the materials, right? The actual food itself, and how much he had to pay employees. So before you think, oh, this guy's a millionaire, he makes 1.8. No, that's just the money that came in, but operation costs are not there. I mean, there's a lot of subtraction. Oh my God, I can't say that word. Subtract that, and that's what he walks away with. You don't have to pay taxes, like all this other stuff. So he's technically not a millionaire if this is how much he's bringing in revenue, because he's probably paying more than half of that of like labor, operation costs, materials, so much things.
To be happy. So we definitely do work really hard on keeping our employees retained. You see a lot of QSRs have the tips at the register. That has been a big retention tool across the industry. And
the tips thing bothers me, because now not only is the customer paying more for food, but now the workers depend on tips as additional income to get by. And I hate this whole tip culture that we have right now, because it's not going to reduce the price of the food when we have tips. I mean, I'm not one against tips. I tip my server, don't get me wrong. But if you're asking me to tip you and all you did was just take my money, you didn't go above and beyond, this is our only interaction, no, you don't deserve a tip. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. If you were like my server or bartender, constantly giving me attention, interacting with me, checking up on me, giving me new glasses and new plates, everything, yes, you deserve a tip. But all you did was spin the thing around. You can't ask for a tip. If you don't like the pay, that's between you and your employer, not between you and the customer. Okay? So the whole tip thing, now it's going to get worse with tipping, right? It's already bad as it is. I could go on a tangent about tipping, sorry.
Even recently, I saw Chipotle had tips at the register now. So it's going to continue happening at a lot of brands, I think.
In addition to minimum wage, has inflation forced you to raise prices?
Yeah, so we have done some price increases. Diesel prices have gone up over the years, so transport. We also bring in a lot of product from China, or paper goods and such, which a lot of brands do. And those prices, surged during COVID, have come back down, but not back to, let's say, pre-pandemic levels in some respects. And just paper costs even have gone up. So there have been some marginal price increases, but we really aim to keep our price below $10 for the average consumer. Again, we want our customers to come back and be loyal multiple times per week. And so that's really our focus, is on retaining that customer value. And they don't want to spend too much. We're definitely a premium product. We have artisanal ingredients. And so we do strive on that. That being said, we want it to be cost effective for our consumers.
Of course. Neil, thank you so much. You're a very...
Okay, so minimum wage, $20 an hour. That is a lot, but this is California. California is an expensive state. Everything costs so much more in California. It's very high tax. A lot of things. I go on about California for a while if I have to, but $20 minimum wage is expensive, and I know you're always playing catch up. That's what bothers me about minimum wage. I mean, it should be if you're okay. Let's say you're 16. You should really be working to learn, not working to make a wage. You're probably still living at home, making, your first job is going to be minimum wage. It should be. But I get it, if you're out of the house and you don't have skills, I mean, hopefully you have roommates and whatnot, you have a place to live, you're 18, and you rely on a job. You need a job and make minimum wage. I get it. But one argument people say that minimum wage is mainly for people entering the workforce, which is young kids. Yes, there's truth to that, but that's not the whole truth, because there's people with like a significant other, like a woman who got out of a bad relationship. She never worked. She gets out of a bad relationship. Now she has to work, and the only thing she's qualified for is a minimum wage job, right? She might have kids. Or people who've lived in a life of crime, they're trying to turn things around, and the only job they can get is minimum wage. Can you really live off that? No, but not at all. But there's ways to kind of figure it out. But besides the pay in itself, it's really like the whole catch up. Like, cost of living goes up, then we just say, oh, it's the wages, so they have to catch up. But it's cost of living will always keep going beyond the minimum wage. So it's just a matter of like figure out how you can make more money. If you're working at these minimum wage jobs, you should be there only to learn, not to be so dependent on that pay. Now, what I was getting back to earlier is that this is going to benefit big corporations in the long run, and it eliminates the competition of the smaller businesses. Smaller businesses are going to be impacted by this the most. I hope for this guy, he can still thrive, but there's so many restaurants, even fast food, that they're trying to come up and compete against the big giants like Burger King, Jack in the Box, Wendy's, McDonald's, right? But those big corporations, they kind of like whenever there's a new minimum wage, they can pay it. What are they going to do? Increase the price of the customers who are going to continue coming back. But the new companies that need to attract new customers, they have a hard time doing this. Earlier they showed In-N-Out. In-N-Out's not going to have a problem with this at all. I mean, they've always paid, on comparison with other fast food restaurants, they paid their employees pretty well. So I don't think this will be a problem with them. But I know if you look hard enough, you'll find restaurants that are fast food that are small, local, right? Burger joint, fast food Mexican joint, something, right? There's always a quick fast food restaurant out there that's up and coming, but they're always having the struggles because everything's so expensive. It's hard to keep up, and this is another punching gut for them. So that's the big thing I want to emphasize, that this will benefit big giants, your McDonald's, and it will hurt the smaller companies or someone who's thinking about starting their own business in a fast food, their own brand, making a little bit better ingredients, better burger that's fast, get it, leave type situation. But that dream is coming to a close. Let's see what comments have to say. So what are they trying to say? That fast food workers are essential and shouldn't be fired, or they're not worthy of a decent wage and should find other jobs? I mean, fast food work is difficult, and it's not one of those that we've known for a while as something that pays well. I don't think they're going to be essential. Things are getting more automated. They're going to reduce the staff by a lot. There's more and more self-checkout at fast food. If you got into those McDonald's or Burger Kings where there's a menu, you just click and point what you want added to the cart, and then all you need is like 1 or 2 people to get the food ready and tell you, this is your number, it's ready. Boom. You don't need a lot of people at that point. But not everyone, like I said, the small companies can't afford that. Now, only after the owners and franchisees, license owners suffer, they'll rethink their own finances and provide a livable wage to ones that make money off of. And if you want to argue it's not a real job, only a stepping stone to a real job, sure, but one needs a wage that can help pay for the ability to live as well as educate oneself to actual step onto the next platform. I agree. What if you really enjoy working at a fast food restaurant? There's some people who don't have the ability to go to like college. I'm not saying that they're not smart. It's just that's just not their thing, or a trade or anything else. Maybe this is their thing that they're good at, that they excel at, making food at a fast food restaurant, customer service. Just if someone's willing to do a really good job, yeah, they deserve at least a decent living wage. But maybe they stay there for a while. Hopefully they get raises. Hopefully they move up in the ranks there, or maybe they just enjoy being an employee. It's all that they're good at. It's all they care about. They don't want to do any other skill. I mean, I see this guy's point, right? Everyone thinks this is a stepping stone. This is where kids start first to move up, learn. But there's still plenty of adults who work at fast food restaurants and still make minimum wage, and it sucks. It's not for me, and I'm sure for most of you watching this, it's not for you, right? Just mainly because the pay sucks, the type of work sucks, but there's some people that just can't really see themselves doing something else because they don't like it. Since when were these jobs considered life sustainable? These are entry jobs into the workplace. I guess if I worked at McDonald's, I would be crying too. How can I raise my son, pay the mortgage, and put my kid through college? Get real and get a real job. You can wipe off tables at home. I mean, okay, first sentence, sustainable. I mean, you can say that about any job now. And more jobs are like, how do you think this job is sustainable, right? I mean, there's going to be more and more jobs out there that don't pay well because in this crazy economy, this crazy inflation that we live in, that people are just going to look down on. So is it okay to look down at fast food workers now? Are we going to look down at servers soon, bartenders soon? Say, why would you expect that's a sustainable job for a living? I mean, shoot, we're at the point where we're saying teachers, you got a college education, the license to be a teacher, and it doesn't pay well. Why would you consider that be sustainable? I mean, there's so many more and more jobs you could classify that's not sustainable anymore. Why would you consider fast food? Yeah, it's a low-skilled job, entry level. The reason why people consider entry level is because it's hard to hire people for that job because the job overall sucks. It's hard work and it's low pay. Who wants to do that, honestly? Not a lot of people want to do it. That's why, They're struggling to get them in, and there's two things you could really do. You either increase the pay hourly, or you get immigrants to do it. And they don't have a lot of options out there. That's why we see a lot of immigrants doing fast food work. They work hard, and they'll do it for a cheaper rate. Get real and get a real job. I mean, fast food work is a real job. I mean, any job that brings in income, even if it's hardworking, doesn't pay a lot, it's a real job. I mean, how can you say that? Fast food workers fought for $20 an hour. Now they are gone. Nice work. Shake my head. I agree on half of this, that this is going to impact small businesses the most. Big places like McDonald's, whatnot. I mean, they already had plans to fire people anyway, and now they have more customers. They have less competition out there. I think that's enough I want to say for this video. So please leave a like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. I read them below. And until next time, bye.